Hello everyone, my name is Rashi Aditi Ghosh. I am the Senior Assistant Editor of a magazine called the Banking and Finance Post, which is a publication by Elets Technomedia, India's leading B2B organization which organizes knowledge platforms and publishes 5 leading magazines across India. And today I am here for a brand new episode of Elets Innovation Talk. And in this episode, we will take you forward towards the strategies and the leading innovations around the insurance sector. And today we have with us Mr. Asit Rath. He is the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director from Aviva, India. Welcome to the conversation, sir. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Rashi.
Yeah. So as we all know, Elets Innovation Talk as an initiative began during the pandemic when we thought that it's really important to talk to the leaders across the BFSI industry to understand their ways to deal with the crisis and find resilience and continuity amongst the uncertain time. And this is our first in-person innovation talk. And to begin with, the first question, like I said, it is more on insurance. We would be talking about the innovation around the insurance industry. So, what are the major paramount forces which are creating opportunities as well as obstacles in the insurance industry? Asit, how do you want to share your views?
Let me talk about the opportunities first.
Right.
So I think perhaps this is the best ever time in insurance industry in India since the time we privatized, because you see a lot of regulatory developments which are very positive. The regulator is wanting to move the penetration from 3.2% to 6%.
Right.
And they've taken very, very disruptive steps which have been perhaps never taken by any other regulator in the world.
Right.
Right from making insurance companies lead insurers to giving us targets to increase penetration, and we are going all out to ensure that our penetration moves from 3.2% of the GDP to 6%. So that's like really a tremendous force which is driving us. They have simplified product, the speed to market where you can go to create innovative products. They've also taken a lot of feedback. They have made sure that distribution, like banks, are also accessible to many insurers. Instead of 1 or 2, they have increased it to 9.
Right.
And that's all about regulatory. But if I were to talk about what's happening in insurtech in India, so you can see one of the biggest insurtech industries getting developed anywhere in the world to be here in India.
Right.
So you have companies which are solving sales issues to marketing issues to distribution issues to using artificial intelligence and databases to underwrite intelligently, financial underwriting, medical underwriting. So you're seeing lots of things which will completely change the color shape of the industry and perhaps make us go a notch below segment, which is the lower middle class, possibly who need the maximum protection.
Yes.
Right. So that's what is really driving the business right now. And post-pandemic, the awareness is also at the highest level.
Right.
Now, if you were to say what is really stopping us, the stopper would be our speed or our ability to kind of react to all these changes in a fast, agile fashion. We would also look at innovative ways of distribution, because some of the older ways of distribution will never take us to the right customer at the right speed. So perhaps the technology as a lever and how it plays out as a business model is something that will be most interesting for us to watch out for. So it's both an obstacle as well as an opportunity that we need to solve for.
Right. So like, you briefed it very well. We all know that, this uncertain time has brought problems for us, but most of the leaders that we were in touch recently, everybody said that there's a opportunity in disguise, which is digitization. It has pushed the need of technology like never before, and many of them even they project that it's 5 years ahead than what we thought that it'll be during the pandemic. So
you're absolutely right. So the power of ability to run business using technology was perhaps best shown to us during the pandemic.
Right.
So we went into a situation where there was no way to even communicate with each other physically, and everyone had to do things digitally. So perhaps the pandemic created the urgency which was required for the entire industry to adopt digitization.
Absolutely.
So things which were really innovative earlier, like ability to sell on a mobile platform, those have become passé. They become like everybody has to do it.
Right.
And we are now pushing the boundary to start creating models which perhaps will be first implemented in India, then and possibly exported from here to outside. So in that sense, we have really benefited from the crisis in terms of what lessons it has taught us, and the way we have reacted to it has accelerated definitely the digitization landscape in India.
100%. Yeah. So, taking this question ahead, we will go towards social media, which is a very important part of everyone's life today. It, I can say it can create a make or break situation for every leading organization. So, while we were talking about InsurTech, digitization and insurance sector, how do you think social media as a tool is helping you overall as a brand to flourish, and particularly if you talk about digital payments, because people have enrolled themselves into insurance policies now, and digital payment is something that they'll be preferring.
Yes.
Yeah. So
absolutely. So nobody had expected the payments market to become so disruptive.
Right.
And if you look at why that happened, is something called as a UPI, which was mostly created by the government of India. And all innovations in payment that you see on top of it, whether it's Google Pay or a Paytm or Bharat Pay, everything is built on top of that infrastructure that the government itself created. It's a lot of work being done on the background by the regulators or the governments. A push. So you have right now a national health mission, which is about digitizing all the records available of the masses. Now that will do perhaps something phenomenal to the way we do assess health in the country. Assessing financial position of a customer has become so much more easier with the push towards banking, the push towards digital payments, etc. You can always derive data accordingly. And I think these positive stories of the companies going on social media is just creating more and more ripple effect and creating great awareness.
Right. So, insurance sector, like I said, it is into function for years now. We have seen our parents also using insurance policies, but from it has a journey over the years. It has made itself from a push product to a demand-driven product now. So, being an insurance company, a leading name in the insurance segment, how are you coping up with trends that have been causing insurance industry to rethink its operating model, such as digital transformation, the rise of environmental, social, and governance concern? Because somehow there's a responsibility associated with insurance sector as well, because it leads into protection of every individual.
So we've seen that brands which embrace social and become socially relevant are the ones which are doing extremely well.
Right.
So as far as we are concerned, we want to turn the entire operating model of our business to move from simply selling insurance to actually start moving the needle towards protection and prevention.
Absolutely. Right.
So how we can do it is through intelligent partnerships. There's, as I said earlier, there's a lot of tremendous amount of development on the wellness and tech which is happening. So at this point of time, there are some of these technologies are going to be tremendously scalable without being expensive. So that will allow us to almost embark on a movement where we say that we would help our customers to find their healthiest self, which was not earlier possible for us to do. We were there for that one rainy day. If something were to happen, we were there with the financial protection for that event to happen. And let me cite a critical illness, for example. So the cost of preventive action to treat any dreaded diseases in India will be a fraction of the cost of actual treatment.
Absolutely.
So it makes tremendous business sense, and it makes us move in a direction which is completely social. Who doesn't want a healthier India? Who doesn't want to find their healthiest self? Right? So we will join that movement as one of the players, as one of the important players, and bring in other non-insurance players also together to be able to achieve what is important for the customer.
So, you spoke about healthier self, healthier India. Yeah, I think never before this pandemic has underlined the need for insurance, because we knew that we're not sure about our life. Tomorrow is something that is uncertain. So, and BFSI industry overall has shown that responsibility, like other frontline workers. They were into function 24/7, working for people's financial need, and highlighting the importance of digitization, which helped connect people with their financial stuff. So, but one part of India is still, struggling to maintain their financial inclusion, vision. So, if I talk about the biggest challenge for your organization in terms of reaching out to the lower income group and helping them to get an affordable insurance, or connecting them to digital stuff, how did you take a lead in this regard?
So I think what is right now, over the last 20 years we've operated in India, and we have mostly been urban centered. So our customer base is more or less urban mass affluent salaried customer, and that would be true for many of the insurance companies. What stops us from going below that? What stops us is the cost associated with physically setting up offices, getting a large number of agents to do certain bidding on our part, and making customers understand complex products. What will help is the digitization moving in a direction where the cost of actually assessing a life on financial and health parameters will be almost negligible.
Right.
And then it is upon us to create very, very simple products which just cannot be missold. So they can be then delivered digitally through various innovative partnerships that we can go on the distribution side to be able to do this business and take our insurance business right down to the next level sustainably, without making it a business which actually bleeds.
Right. So, now since at the beginning of the conversation only, I said that this conversation would be encircling the innovations that you are bringing in an organization as a team leader, along with your team as a leading name of the insurance sector. What are the innovations that you have planned in near future? I won't say 5 years, because at this point of time, predicting something during the pandemic or in between the pandemic is something that we all should avoid. But how do you see your organization growing in near future, and what innovations do you think you can bring in as a leader in this organization?
So first of all, we have to be very humble to see what all the environment is teaching us.
Right.
So there are industries where bulk of innovation is happening. We have to look at partnerships to be able to leverage a lot of good work which is happening, as I said, on the insurtech, on the health tech, on the fintech side in India. So majority of our innovation will be engaging with many various players like these, and then looking at our own unique journey where we are totally focused on our goals for the consumers. So we would not our goals for the consumers would not change. So we would want our consumers to eat better. We'd want them to move more. We would want them to get periodic health checks done. We'd want them to be in great mental well-being, and we'd also want them to regularly save, because these are all great habits for someone to move confidently into the future. And that talks to the Aviva values. So our values are something that have remained over the 326 years that we have we have been in existence. So our innovation journey is about partnering with these very, very fast and quick companies, startups which are in India, and to be almost on the forefront of that innovation space through a collaborative approach, and not try to do it all on our own.
Right. I think we are ending this conversation at a very positive note. Collaboration is the key. That is what even every leader we spoke to has underlined, that you should not try and do it on your own, and you should always be open and and collaborating with organizations that are doing wonderful job across the country. There are fintechs, insurtechs who are innovating ahead. So we should collaborate, because our aim should be doing well-being, doing good for everyone, not just for us. So you said your customer is your center point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we want to build our business where doing good
Hmm.
is the way we do well for ourselves.
Right.
So that's about it from my side. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining the conversation today. So that's it from Mr. Rath at Aviva India, and this is Rashi Aditi Ghosh signing off today for today's episode at Elets Innovation Talk. And like I always say, next time when we meet at Innovation Talk, we will have somebody as bright and as futuristic as Mr. Rath, who would share his part of the story, his success stories and strategies that can help India do better and build a Bharat that is for everyone. So thank you so much for joining us today.